Well, waiting on the, I got this tore apart to fix the clutch. Drum must be sheared. So I got to press that out and press it down to size it up to meet the size of the Ryobi's drive shaft, which is slightly smaller than Echo's. But the jack that goes in here for my press, it wandered off, and while I'm waiting for it to show back up, because I've looked everywhere that I could think, and more than once too. So while I'm waiting for it to show back up, I was doing something else, and as you remember, the pulley went bad on one of the hustlers, so I didn't make it to the store to buy their $30 deal. So I'm going to try to fix the one I got. But you remember I was telling you that I had adapted this pulley where it could be taken apart now. I drilled out all the welds and replaced the welds with these little steel stud self-drilling, self-tapping screws. The only thing is they still are hard to get apart because they kind of press fit on that bearing a little bit. But in this way that you can use a bearing from like Napa or something. You don't have to buy the whole pulley, so it's cheaper and you have a little bit of flexibility. To be honest, I probably would have just bought a whole pulley because it's been hectic lately, but I don't know. I couldn't make it to the store in time, so. It's not covered exactly off easy, so I gotta get a couple screwdrivers. Hang on. Round two, see if I can get this opened up. See, so it's still not exactly, it doesn't just fall apart. And then you got the bearing. Well, one factor is it gets rusty, you see. Let me get a hammer. Okay, when you go to put these back together, once they're on the bearing, it won't want to turn for you. So you got to kind of have this plates in alignment. The holes have to line up. So there's a hole, big fat hole there, a big fat hole here. And then you'd it's like I'm close. It's close. But see, it's clocked a little tiny bit off. I didn't see that. So instead of, those holes are kind of sensitive, so I'd rather pop it back off and get it right. Because you know, with a self-drilling screw, you can only use them so many times before you're done. I mean, each time you run the drill thing in there, it gets a little opened up more. So I'd rather have it about right. Sorry about the camera work, but you know, one-handed, kind of crazy. You might have to use the screws to kind of draw it in, so you want to tighten it evenly. I showed somebody else how to do this, and I noticed that when they did it, they used these massive bolts instead of these little screws. I don't know, but I would think that that would add a lot of weight to spin up, which would be harder on your clutch and belts, and the potential for off balance situation. So that's why I use these little steel stud screws. Missing one screw. There's always just one. But I can live without that one. And then so that's a new bearing in there in that pulley now. And this is the nice thing about the Hustlers, they're easy to work on. So I'm going to want to drop my deck down so it's a little easier. So, you just got to take this chain off. Can't do it one-handed, but you pull on that, it releases the tension on the spring. So just imagine me doing that. There. Okay, so now the belt's untensioned. That's the pulley, it's froze up. The belt was actually just sliding on it. I was smoking the belt. Okay, then I just pulled this chain, which hooked to the spring, which pulls on that swing arm, retensions the belt. So there's the old pulley, no good, seized up. That mower's ready to go now, just need to sharpen blades. But if I can find it, I want to show you what happens if you don't run your belt tight enough. I've only seen this once, but I'm not sure where it went. See, there's all band of pulleys in there. I don't think it's in there. No, I don't see it. So anyway, this is what I was looking for. Found it. This was the PTO clutch, and somebody didn't have the belt tightened up enough, and the Kevlar belt ate right through that pulley. I don't know how long it took to occur, because I wasn't the one in possession of the machine at the time. But it's kind of bowed out right here where my thumb is, or wore out, and then this side wore clean through and threw off that side of the pulley. So that's what happens if you don't tension your belt enough. If you tension it too much, though, you put an extra side load on your bearings in the PTO, crankshaft, motor, spindles. So you got to have a happy medium on that. All right, that's all I got.